Okay, so today I have singer, songwriter, and you might know her from such recent albums as Winter Autopilot and Smoking Candle, right? That was your first one. Okay, good. Sorry, I almost messed that one up. She is a local favorite and soon-to-be household name for sure, Marloma. How are you?
You are so sweet. Thank you. I'm doing wonderful. I'm really happy to be here today and to tell a little bit of my story.
Yeah, well, you're very interesting. I do have to say that. And I met you about, wasn't last winter, but the winter before, and I can't remember what the hotel was, but it was a rooftop Swiftie night. And so,
That was our monthly corporate gig. We did Swiftie Sundays.
Yes.
That was, I think, our first gig ever as a band.
Oh, no way.
Sundays.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that might feel really special that I got to be there that night. That's amazing. That's so cool. So once I kind of found you and I started really looking at the music, this isn't instantly, you guys are going to like her. She is, how do you explain your sound? Because in my brain, it's like, I don't like to compare people, but one moment I'll hear Lana Del Rey, and then I'll hear some like Taylor Swift, but then I'll hear like Alanis Morissette. So how would you describe yourself?
You're very spot on in like the comparison to independent female artists, because those have been my hugest inspirations in writing and in like crafting the sound that we make. Our guitarist John Curtis Sanchez once was put on the spot and asked what kind of music we made, and he described it as sad girl indie pop rock, and I was like, that is 5 words. That is like a perfect encapsulation, I think.
And honestly, that could be a new genre that you create on your own. That is such a cool way of thinking about just kind of today's world even, you know, what would fit in and really kind of stick with us. So how did you get started? Tell me about where it all began. Have you always been into music? Is it something that you came to recently?
I was very into poetry my entire life. Like elementary school, I loved writing, I loved rhyming and metaphors and figurative language. And in middle school, I joined the choir. We had our first songwriting assignment, and immediately I fell in love. I was like, this is like, I can do my poetry, but like people can feel it more using music, using prosody and songwriting. Where if you don't know what prosody is, it's like if you say like hi and the melody goes high. So you literally feel the words in the music. I thought that was a really powerful tool, and I really loved doing it, but I didn't know if I wanted to do it as a career or just a hobby. And when I was 14, I had a friend who was my same age, and she passed away tragically from cancer. And I had, at this point, processed a lot of my emotions through songwriting, so I wrote a tribute to her. And her mom heard it and asked me to play it at her celebration of life. And when I did that and saw the way that, like, I felt like that tribute connected everybody in the room, and I could really get these, like, these feelings out without absolutely bawling when I was singing them. And I kind of, at that moment, thought to myself, like, maybe this is a viable career, not just, like, as a way to support myself, but maybe this is something that people need, too, like how we need doctors and we need lawyers and stuff. And I never really thought of being a songwriter or performer as something like that is necessary for community, but that was kind of the moment where I changed my mind about that.
Well, I think it is such a necessary part of being in our community too, because people don't know how to express their emotions. And more times than not, I will hear a song and go, wow, I didn't even know that's how I felt, but this is exactly how I feel. And this person nailed it. And it's just, how can somebody have that same feeling as me? And even in dark times, great times too, you know, it is such a way to connect, such a unique way to connect. Now, what about music-wise? Were you always into playing music, or did you have to teach yourself that? Because I feel like the songwriting came pretty easy for you in poetry.
I was always very interested in singing. My mom has a bunch of like old videos of me as a 6-year-old, like just singing constantly, making up songs, and you know, that's just something kids do. But I know I've done it for a long time. I got into piano lessons for the first time, I think when I was like 8, and I enjoyed that immediately. I was also put into like every sport possible because my family was a sports family. Like no one in my family does any music at all. So I knew I hated sports. I didn't I wasn't quite fitting in that way. Playing piano was just different, and I started taking that really seriously and got into some rigorous classical piano training, and I started learning other instruments when I was like 12, like the guitar and stringed instruments like the ukulele. In college, I started exploring bass and drums, and while it's not like as expressive emotionally, it is like almost like an accomplishment that I enjoy when I feel like I'm getting better at an instrument. It's like dopamine in a different way.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. It's nice that you have something you're always working towards, too. There's endless amounts of instruments, so you'll never get bored trying to learn new things if you want to.
Yeah.
Now
I would really love to learn the saxophone, honestly.
Oh, wow. Do you play anything like that right now?
No, I've never done, like, classic band instruments, but I know my keys player, Cassidy, plays saxophone, so she says once I buy one, she'll teach me, and I think that would be really fun.
That would be really cool. Have, like, a jazz moment. It would be really fun.
I love when the lead singer does that. I just pull out, like, some random instrument, like a trumpet, and play a lead line like that. It's a dream.
It's definitely impressive, I will say that. Now, tell me about your bandmates and how you all met and became together.
So, I started a band in May of 2023, and the only remaining member from that band is John Curtis Sanchez, our guitarist, and he also produces, mixes, and masters our songs. So he's definitely, like, he takes care of a lot. We're really, really lucky to have him. He's, like, they call him the Swiss Army knife of the music industry because he does absolutely everything. Yeah, so he's been with me since then. I asked one of my best friends, Callie Gibson, to come sing, backup vocals for me, and eventually she started playing the bass in the band, and it's just been such a cool experience to watch her pick up that instrument. She's so naturally gifted, and I couldn't be more grateful for her. And I told you about Cassidy, our keys player, who also sings background vocal. We really try to prioritize, like, the 3-part female harmony in our sound, like, for at least, especially for live shows. We're all choir kids, so we love a little jazzy harmony. And she also just is incredible on the keys. Like, I'll write, like, a super complex part that I wouldn't feel comfortable giving to anybody else, and she'll have it down the next day. It's really, really something. And Angelita joined us in September. She's our drummer, and I've just gotten so many compliments about her and how she complements the sound so well. As a drummer, it's really hard to know when to play quietly, and she is very, very good and technical about that. She's extremely talented and extremely sweet, and I love everyone in my band so much.
Oh, that's gotta be important, because it sounds like the first band you say, there's only one left over, so I'm glad
like,
you
no
found...
tea, no drama, but it wasn't the right match for the sound.
And you're not supposed to find the right band first, right? Just like when you find a partner.
Exactly.
Now, can I ask you a little about your songs, because I am fangirling a little bit. So I'm going to start with kind of a little bit more of a sad one, which is Loma Mar. Yeah. Is it sad? Is this about somebody special in your life? I got, like, grandma, grandpa vibe, but okay, good. So tell me about that one.
Yeah, Loma Mar is basically an explanation for the name Marloma. It came from, there's a teeny tiny town in the middle of the redwood forest called Loma Mar, and my ancestors built, like, a tiny log cabin in the middle of this woods. It's literally, like, the middle of nowhere, but it's gorgeous. The redwood trees are, like, up 80 feet in the air. It's like nothing else I've ever imagined. And I moved a lot as a kid. I've lived in, like, many, many states in the United States, but every single summer, my entire family would go to Loma Mar, and that was, like, the biggest constant of a place that I had in my life, that, like, I knew no matter where we were living temporarily for this amount of time, that, like, my family would be together there. And, my dad didn't have to work, and my brother wasn't hanging out with his friends. He had to hang out with me because I was the only other kid there, and I just had a lot of special memories in Loma Mar. The cabin belongs to my grandparents now, who they're still living, they're still kicking it, they're 80 years old, and I just wrote that song to kind of, as a tribute to my family, since they're my biggest supporters, and for anyone who was confused about the name Marloma, to kind of give a little context.
Yeah. I actually just thought you had a really cool first name. I was like, her mom must be some kind of cool hippie.
And I enjoy that a lot, although a lot of people do mispronounce it. I try to go by it in my music career just for privacy reasons.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of crazies.
That, and also I think the one name thing is so iconic. You know, Madonna,
Yes.
Beyonce,
Exactly.
Marloma.
Madonna is exactly who I was thinking of.
Yes.
You're spot on.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Okay, so Crazy in Love is another one that's a song that I keep kind of playing over and over again because it almost gives off like first love, that like first kind of crazy, like, you know, just got wild and you're not really thinking. Is that what you're going for there? What was
Yeah,
like the
that is
that?
wow, that is crazy. I haven't been asked about that song ever. It's so like old.
Oh, I like it. I keep playing it. I like it a lot.
Thank you. That really made my day. Yeah, I wrote that when I was like 14, I think.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I wrote the first part as a standalone, and I gave it to my partner at the time, and I was like, "This is for you." And then everything went to hell.
Yeah, well.
The second part,
Mhm.
and a couple months later, I wrote the third part, and it's such a weird structure for a song. It's like every chorus is different, and it's just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and that's the entirety of the song. And every section has like different instrumentation. I thought that was really fun to play around with. Where like the second one is angry, it has like electric guitar riffs and like heavy drums. The first one's just ukulele and like background ahs, and the last one is more of a triumphant finish. So I thought that was like my first time experimenting with like 3 different genres within one song. I thought it was fun.
Well, and it's so funny because I kind of felt like when I listen to it, I almost feel like it has like messy. It's messy, but in a good way. And it's like, it's messy, but like how like a first love is messy. You know, it's like this messy, chaotic, beautiful like thing. And so it like, I almost thought that was kind of part of changing, like how it, you know, the relationship kind of is like the intensity. It's the most intense first love. It's the most intense breakup. You know, it's kind of like these such different stages in that first, you know, time you really find that you're with somebody. So I find that song really, I just think it's so interesting. Okay, so I love Smoking Candle too, and it's very much like the song The Summer, and I love it. So tell me about that one a little bit.
So Smoking Candle, it was my first production assignment in college, actually. So I had this demo where I had all the instrumentation written out, and I remember writing the song like my first semester in college, and I had just like gone through a breakup where I had been dating someone for 3 years, and I thought like, you know, this is gonna be my life, and then suddenly my entire future felt like it's so blurry now. I have no idea what's gonna happen, and I developed like such walls around me. My guard was up. I was not down to even like be looking at anybody romantically. I was like, fuck this, I'm never doing that again. Like, that was absolutely horrendous, and if anyone even tries to look at me romantically, like, go fuck yourself, I'm not doing that. Like, that was how I felt. But for some reason, I love a good plot twist in a song, so, like, the beginning of Smoking Candles, like, don't even think about it. Like, anybody, I could see someone that thinks they're cute, but, like, don't even think about coming to talk to me. You're just gonna ruin my life. And, you know, then by the end, I'm kind of like, it hadn't happened yet, but I was sort of daydreaming about finding the person that would, like, take my walls down and make me feel safe again. And it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, I think. So although it hadn't happened yet when I had written Smoking Candle, by the time I was recording it, it was set in stone.
Yeah, I like that one too a lot. Okay, and then I have to bring up mine too, 10-minute version, because I'm a huge Swiftie, like ridiculously huge. So I do like your version of that. Good. See, and what's really fun is I was wondering if you were or not, because I don't usually get to interview in my office, and it's all Swiftie stuff back here. It's like, I have like, oh my gosh, I have like,
the sunglasses. That's from
I have the sunglasses, I have her microphone. Yeah, I have like tons of snow globes. I have the little, this guy moves around. I have everything.
Beautiful. I see the sunglasses from the lover.
Yes, yep. I have a couple of my signed CDs and like some stuff up on my books. So.
There's signed CDs. Okay.
Like I said, a bit of a fan.
I'm definitely on that wave with you. She's a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I found you, was because of the Swiftie night. So it's like, that's really cool.
That's honestly a really good gig for us to get, you know, people who are on the same page.
Yeah. You need to find more now, because I feel like everybody is missing the Eras tour, so they're kind of just like scratching for more something, you know? Yeah. I feel like I'm like, I just wish I could turn on the Eras tour tonight. It'd be so nice.
Oh my god, that was crazy.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm not going to take much more of your time, but do you have any dream collabs?
Oh, dream collabs? Honestly, like, there are a lot of local rappers that I really like their sound. I've always kind of dreamed about doing like a rap verse collab with somebody, and then I'm like singing the chorus. Yeah, I have a couple people right now that come to mind that are just really cool, nice people, and are very talented, but that's always a type of like song I've wanted to experiment with. So I already do a lot of collaboration with my band because they all have their own projects going on. So us singing together, them writing and featuring on my songs feels like a collaboration that's, you know, regular to me, but collaborating with like a rapper is something I've never done before. So
I love that sound. I love that idea too. That sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it seems like such a kind of basic question, but what is your 5-year plan? Like, what do you feel like where you're going as an artist and a band?
So right now I'm a junior in college studying music, and I plan on getting a master's degree in the next 5 years as well. So my priority is school right now, and of course I'm making music and stuff and marketing that as best as I can. I just started working with a manager this year in January.
Oh, congratulations.
So this, at least for the next 5 years, our priority is going to be playing outside of Arizona. Like, I've never played outside of Arizona. So as a band, we want to like tour the West Coast, try other states, and be able to go back to them, you know, once we've hopefully created somewhat of a fan base in those other places. I think that's going to be a really big step for like expanding. And just exciting to play outside of my hometown. But yeah, we're just playing like different cities in Arizona, like Tucson and Flagstaff, and then we're going to start expanding into other states. That's a big goal. And recording a ton of music. I have probably 200 songs ready to go right now, but the recording process is so expensive and time consuming that it's very hard to just get them out as much as possible. But definitely recording, playing outside of Arizona, and a lot more visual content too. I like music videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the artistic side of that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about, do you have any shows that you're having upcoming anytime soon? Are you playing anywhere local?
Tomorrow we're opening for a touring band called Lake Drive, which is very exciting. I always love opening for acts that are not completely from Arizona. They're like coming in to tour. I think that's a good way to get yourself in front of new people. That's at Yucca Tap Room tomorrow. And yeah, we have a gig in Tucson on the 29th of this month with my good friend Lizzie. So that'll be my first time like outside of Phoenix playing.
Ooh, Tucson.
Yeah, and that's just going to be an acoustic set where like both Lizzie and I are just playing acoustic guitar and having our bassist come along. So it's going to be like a very interesting instrumentation for a gig. But definitely a night for the girls. And yeah, I'm looking at summer shows right now that are local to do as like charities for both Planned Parenthood and LGBTQ. There are 2 shows we're looking at for those, but they're not confirmed yet.
Right, okay. That's awesome. I don't know, that you have like a pretty busy couple of months, sounds like, going on.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're trying to like just completely boycott shows in April because we're like, we need to record music and like, yeah, and plus, you know, we did like, what was it, like 5 shows in January. At some point you're like exhausting the market. People can't come to 5 shows a month, especially if some of them aren't free. So we're trying to cool down right now, but I do have 2 coming up this month. So.
Yeah, that's good. You know what? I think you guys would do really well just based on your sound in like beachy towns like San Diego in the summer. I mean, you guys could probably like hit a bunch of towns just like up and down the coast, you know? It'd be so fun.
I'm such a beach girl, so that would be like ideal for me. I love California so much. I've always wanted to live there.
Yeah, I know. And like it definitely reflects your music too. I could just see you kind of being like beachside somewhere, having everyone hanging out in the sand and just enjoying your music. I think that'd be perfect for you guys.
Definitely the ukulele vibe.
I love that too. And that is so cool that you play the ukulele. You were in the middle sentence of saying that, but in my head I was like, that is so badass. Like, honestly, I would kind of like slip that into every conversation that I have. It's like, every once in a while.
I never thought of it like that. Everyone always says it's like an easier version of the guitar. So
No.
I never feel super impressed.
I love it. It kind of reminds me of being in Hawaii, so I guess that's why I like it. You get that, like, cool vibe. Bob Marley vibe. All right, and so how can we find you, social media-wise?
Well, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, any social media sites, I'm Marloma Official. And on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, I'm just Marloma, Marloma.
And actually, today I went on her Instagram, and she has merch now. And I got the Winter Autopilot shirt and a couple of the bracelets. And what I noticed is when I was about to check out, oh my god, that's so cute. I didn't even notice the back of it, but I love it. Look, she has the exact one that's coming to me. And I noticed that 50% of the proceeds go to students with mental health. Tell me how you got involved with that.
So when we were planning the release of Winter Autopilot, it's about seasonal depression, and that's a sort of less talked about subsection of depression and mental health issue. And I really wanted to do something with my music to like give back to the community and foster a community, like something. We've established that music is helpful to people to process their feelings, but I felt like I want more. I want to do more than that. I want to genuinely and directly help, people who are struggling with this, not just like have them feel understood, but give them resources as much as possible. And so we lost a lot of money on that release, but it really didn't matter to me because Arizona Students for Mental Health, I was researching a bunch of charities, and that one struck my eye because I'm a student, most of my band is students, and young people just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So I feel like that's a group of people that's pretty vulnerable and could use the help, and my target audience is younger women, so I wanted to do something at least to like let them know, I'm really on your team. I'm not just doing this for me. So I found Rihanna was the president, I believe, of Arizona Students for Mental Health. They came out to the show. They wrote me a beautiful letter, and we took the proceeds of that night, anything that we made on ticket sales, merchandise, and just wrote them a check, and we were like, keep doing what you're doing. We're a big fan of it, and we've kept in touch with them since then. I think they're planning an event for May they wanted us to be a part of as well.
Oh, that's such a cool idea. I love that. You are making me just fall in love with you. You are such a genuinely sweet person. I'm so glad I got to interview you today.
This has been so lovely. I'm really happy we got to do this.
Thank you. And I will link everything below for you guys. So thank you, Marloma, again. And I can't wait to see all of your success. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you.